Meet Desmond, or Desi for short. Desmond has made his way to the bright, sunny beaches of Los Santos from the equally bright and sunny beaches of Sydney, Australia. Well, actually he had to run away from Australia because he pushed his granddad down the stairs for his insurance money. That's why good old Desi has a few extra buckaroos to start off with. Definitely not just because I had extra money in the bank of another character. Faced with the challenges of conquering a city as large and fearsome as Los Santos, Desmond is going to have to pull out a lot of tricks out of his bag to make sure he makes it to the top. Whether that be joining a notorious motorcycle gang, starting up an underground meth lab, or pulling off the biggest heist the world has ever seen. Your main man Des is going to have to do whatever it takes to make this city his own. So once I got off the plane, I met up with Lamar to begin the GTA Online tutorial, which I opted to do because the tutorial sets you up with a bit of extra starting cash and gives you a proper introduction to the world of Los Santos. Lamar then drove me over to a small car park in the city, and apparently we had already gotten into some trouble since the window was smashed and the car was beaten up. Nevertheless, it was time for my first street race in GTA, and it was against Lamar himself. It took me a bit of getting used to playing with the keyboard and mouse for the first time, but with some nice clean driving I managed to comfortably take the dub. That win also managed to net me a nice 12.5k and some good XP, which got me to level 4. After the race, Lamar set me up on a mission to go infiltrate a drug meetup and collect the goods for myself. Unlike with driving, I found the keyboard and mouse setup to be extremely smooth when it came to shooting, as you can see from my headshot prowess. I did somehow let the guy with the goods get away, and I had to chase him down, which wasn't too difficult, once again showcasing my deadly shot.
Nice.
After I collected the goods, I took them over to Gerald's house, where I was once again greeted by Lamar, who helped along the conversation between us two social abominations. Once I hopped back in my car, I decided to browse the web to see what was new, but I was rudely interrupted when I started getting shot from behind by another player. I guess this is an omen for what's to come. A man can't even spend a second checking his phone nowadays before someone tries to come and kill you. Anyways, I somehow managed to make a getaway, and while the GPS was telling me to turn into a closed store on my left, I thought it was more of a priority to get away from the man trying to end my life. So I ended up driving to another store closer to the boulevard to get some new clothes. At the moment, Desmond looks questionable, to say the least, and the bright pink booty shorts may need to go. I found myself a nice pair of jeans, a tank top hoodie, some new crepes, and to top it off, a nice boonie up hat to show my Aussie roots. Finally, big old Desi was ready to take on the streets. My next task was to hold up a store. While this only nets you a small amount of cash, it is the tried and trusted way to get a start as a criminal in this wonderful city. But while on the way there, I was targeted by a player on an oppressor, and he made quick work of me as I really had no way of defending myself. Fortunately for me, once I respawned, he seemed to lose interest in murdering my innocent soul. I ended up walking a fair distance until I stumbled upon a BMX bike, which I snatched for myself and made my way over to the gas station. I walked into the store and proceeded to intimidate the cashier with my cool hat. And my gun, of course. I gained 2 stars, but after a quick hideout on top of the nearby building, I was all in the clear. Of course, then I missed the ladder, throwing myself off the building and probably damaging my precious hat. But we move on. After I recover from my fall, I get a call from Simeon saying that if I steal a car, he'll provide me with free insurance and loss protection. All I had to do was find something suitable. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the best part of town, and most of the vehicles around here were big clunky SUVs or just plain garbage. But then I stumbled across a Ruiner. Not the flashiest of vehicles, but a nice sleek muscle car to get me started. Once I had disposed of the driver, and I got in, I made my way over to Los Santos Customs to deck out my new ride. Sadly, since I'm a low level, I don't have many upgrades available to me just yet. But I am able to paint my car, give it some nice neon lights, and change the rims. To once again show off Desmond's home nation, I painted the Ruiner in a green and gold combo, which made sure to make my first car stand out. I left the workshop, and waiting for me outside was a mugger. He seemed a little bit slow, so I decided to toy around with him for a bit, letting him know who's boss. He eventually got scared and ran off, but I can't be letting someone who is out to kill me just get away like that. So I drove after him and ended up teaching him a lesson with my fists. It was truly a sight to see for all the onlookers, watching a deranged man from down under beating up a hired killer on the pedestrian crossing, but I guess that's just a regular day in Los Santos for these people. After that strange encounter, a few things happened. I tried to make it over to Cypress Flats for a last team standing mission, but was killed by another guy on a flying bike. Then, as I was about to get back in my car after I claimed my insurance, a mysterious man in an all-black outfit and bike parked beside me and prompted me to get on. As I'd not made any friends in the city yet, I decided to join him. It seems he was taking me to his secret lair in the middle of the mountains, but after a failed motorbike jump that ended up in my death once again, I decided it was better off I stay a lone wolf for now. As there were no cars around, I had to hire a taxi, which was a nice change of pace from the constant death and cop chases that I've been used to. That, of course, did not last very long, when after I finally arrived at my destination, the taxi driver thought it'd be a great idea to run me over. However, the trip wasn't all that bad. While in the back of the cab, Desmond bought his first apartment with the leftover money from his grandfather's life insurance. It's just a simple apartment with a nice 6-car garage, but it's a good start and we want to get better in the future. Now back to the present. After getting up from being nearly run over by the taxi driver, I decided to give him what he deserves, a nice little present through the back of his head. Then I went to quickly check out my new home. A humble start and a nice place, but obviously we will get improvements later on. And I'm also not sure why there's lingerie on the floor of my bedroom, considering I bought this place about 5 minutes ago, but we'll move on. Now it is finally time to commence the final stage of the GTA Online tutorial. After checking out my apartment, I went downstairs, called my newly acquired mechanic and set off for Cypress Flats to take part in a last team standing mission. I managed to find a game with 3 other players and teamed up with this fine gentleman, who I must say his fashion game is on point. Luckily for me, he also had his shooting on point as he completely decimated the other team within the first round and then got the first kill in the second round as well, leaving the last guy for me to finish off. 2 rounds, 2 wins and $3,200 picked up. But most importantly, we are now officially done with the Grand Theft Auto Online tutorial and we are ready to set out on our own adventure. On this journey, we will do whatever it takes to rise up and gather all the riches that Los Santos has to offer. From yachts to planes to clubs, Desmond wants it all. Hey guys, make sure to dive bomb that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the adventures of Desmond and let me know what you want to see him do next. Catch you next time.